crafty friends, it's Joy here for Crafty Meraki, and today I'm sharing the new Enchanting Hugs stamp set, and I'm also going to show you how to use some gold heat embossing to make your card look a little more elegant. So here is that beautiful Enchanting Hugs, and there is a coordinating die. We're going to do some Zig Clean Color Real Brush Marker coloring. It's going to look a bit like a watercolor. So I'm starting in my Misty with a large piece of Bristol Smooth watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to prep my card panel here with an anti-static powder tool, and I'm using some VersaMark clear embossing ink. You can use any kind that you have in your stash, and I'm going to ink this up. And when I am doing clear, I like to ink it up 2 or 3 times, especially on a big image like this. This is going to end up being a 5x7 card, and so I really want to make sure that I have all the pieces, all the areas on this image nice and inked up so we get a really good embossed image. I love using gold embossing. Gold is my favorite, and I love to add that to cards. It really adds some elegance. But when you're also coloring with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, this actually helps to kind of keep your color inside the lines, if that makes sense. So now that I've sprinkled on my gold embossing powder, I'm heating this until it's nice and shiny and melted. You want to make sure that you don't overheat. It'll go dull and not be shiny anymore if you do overheat it. And I love that this stamp also stamps the rest of your sentiments. It's so quick and easy, just one stamp and you have your beautiful image and your sentiments. I am going to do this again. I'm not worried that this paper is smaller. I don't need the sentiments for it. I am going to be using some of the elements twice. So I'm going to stamp it, ink it, heat emboss this again, and then just put this aside until we're done coloring. I do have a little bowl of water, a paper towel, and my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and a little paintbrush. I use a paintbrush pen, but I don't put water in it because I'm just kind of funny that way. I feel like I can't control how much water comes out. So when I'm doing this, I like to dip my brush in the water, tap it off gently on my paper towel, just one little tap to get the excess water off, and then take it to my paper and color with it. So I did my outline with my color here, and then with my brush being a little bit wet, my paper is not wet, I grab some of that color from the outside edge where I colored with the marker and pulled it inside. So you can see the outside is darker and the inside is lighter. That's the look I like to go for. So I'm going to do that for each one of the letters. This is Persian green if you are wanting to know the colors from the Zig markers. And like I said, when you're using embossing powder with something like this, it keeps your color in. It's a bit harder to have your color bleed because you kind of have this little mound of embossing powder, and so it's just really nice that way. Then I'm going to use emerald green for all of the greenery, and I just think the stamp is so gorgeous. I love how some flowers and leaves are behind, some flowers and leaves are in front of the word hugs, and I just think this is such a pretty, beautiful card. And doing all of this coloring, one stamping and this coloring actually goes really quick. You get this card done in no time. I am going to do a little extra step, but if you're trying to get this done quicker, you could leave that extra step out. So hang on in the video for that, and I will show you that here in just a little bit. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm tracing around the edges. I am not tracing around the whole edge of these smaller images because I do want some really nice light areas. When I'm coloring, I like to have shadow and highlight areas, and so that's what I'm creating by blending it out. Now, once you stick your wet paintbrush into the ink, if it's a little too dark, brush the excess ink off on your paper towel and then come back and finish your area. So if you have too much, you're not going to end up with a nice highlight area. So make sure, especially with darker colors like this purple, you'll see me brush the excess off before I will continue to blend. Otherwise, again, you won't have a highlight area, you'll just have a whole dark area. So I'm brushing in between each one so I don't take that darker color back to the next image. And this is making sure again that I have a darker area and a lighter area. So this is deep violet that I'm using on the berries here. And as you can see, even though my video is sped up, this goes really super quick, and look how beautiful it is. And then you have this gorgeous gold embossing powder. I just think it's so stunning, but you could use any color that you wanted. If you wanted a black line, you could stamp it in with black ink. Then you can stamp it without removing your stamp from your MISTI, stamp it in clear ink, and then do clear embossing powder. And that works as well. That works really well too. So this is violet. This is a medium color purple. I'm going to color 3 of the flowers with this color. And I am applying the ink to the base of the petals. And then again, I'm blending outward because I want the tips to be lighter. So it makes it easy to apply your color to the darkest area, wherever you want your shadow to be, your darkest part of the image, add your color there, and then it's easy to blend it out to your lighter area. So I'm going to finish this flower here, and I love the 3 different colors of purple. Let's finish this other small one, and then we can work on the other 2. So you can see this one here that I'm coloring is a flower that's in the foreground. Then the other 2 flowers that I'm getting ready to color, they are also in the foreground. This is the little extra something that I'm going to do. I am coloring these 2 with lilac, and I want this to be lighter. So on that extra panel that I stamped, I'm going to color these 3 flowers. So technically you wouldn't need to color them on this panel, but I wanted to because you will see it a little bit. So it didn't matter to me because it didn't take very long to color it. So on my extra panel, I'm going to color these 3 flowers exactly the same. And then we're going to fussy cut them because we're going to use them to add some dimension to this card panel. So let's finish up this last flower here. And then I'm going to fussy cut this, and I'm just going to cut right up next to that embossed line. So only these 3 flowers. Obviously I didn't need to color anything else. You could also cut the leaves, but I wanted this to be super simple. These were really easy to cut out, and I'm not someone who likes to fussy cut at all, but this actually went really quick, and I felt like it was easier to cut because it had this embossed line that I could really see rather than cutting around a black line. Here's the coordinating die. I apologize for my head being in the way. I'm just making sure that everything is lined up from top to bottom, and I'm taping this down with some washi tape. And then I will run this through my die cut machine, and we will have sentiments and this whole beautiful image. Then I will die cut that second, oh, excuse me, no, never mind. I will not die cut anything else, just this one thing. I'm gonna add some foam adhesive behind this because I want this to be popped up for my background. This is a 5x7 card base. I'm just doing white because I want this whole beautiful image to pop off the back. I'm going to add some foam adhesive strips to those flowers that we have fussy cut out, and then I can just place those over the coordinating flowers, and now we have some dimension, and I love how this looks. We also have our sentiments that were stamped and gold heat embossed. I'm going to add some foam adhesive behind those, and this is going to say sending birthday hugs. And I'm going to place both sentiments on the top part of this card. Let's place this one next to that flower there. And then I want to finish off with some gold confetti here, so you can see that on the background. I just adhered that to a few places, and look at how beautiful this card is with that beautiful gold embossing and that enchanting hugs stamp and coordinating die. Thank you guys so very much. I hope you feel inspired by this project, and I hope you have a wonderful day.